Hey everyone, my name is Luke Lawal, and this is another episode of President's Corner. I'm so excited to be here today. We have a special guest for you guys. I'm so excited. I remember the last couple episodes, you got a chance to really get a chance to see the different presidents and get a feel for what's going on their campus. And today we have a special guest for you, Vann Newkirk from Fisk University. Are you there?
I'm here. Glad to be here.
Awesome, man. How's it going on your campus, man? How have you been?
Well, we've been fine. Our campus things are going well, and we're just happy that we're able to do what we're doing right now in the midst of a pandemic. So we're just glad.
Awesome, man. So how did you get into this role? Tell me a little bit about your background.
I'm a historian, and I'm an HBCU graduate. I've been to 3 HBCUs.
Which ones?
Barbara Scotia College, North Carolina A&T, Howard University. So those are my institutions. And well, 4. I went to North Carolina Central also. So these are some of the institutions that I went to. So I'm an advocate, and all of my family has been HBCU grads. And so that's what we're tied into those institutions.
What is it like having ties into multiple HBCUs? Like, what do you rep? Like, what is the dinner table like? What do you guys talk about?
Well, you know, what we don't talk about is Morehouse. I had a son that went to Morehouse. So we don't talk about Morehouse. We talk about
Wow.
We talk about those institutions that I had some affinity for. So we talk about the Howards, the A&Ts, and the Barbara Scotia, because that gave my family a start in the 1867.
Wow. Wow, that's love. My mom went to Howard and my dad went to Bowie State, and talking to them, it's more about the history. The first thing they always bring up, my dad would be like, "Man, I remember when I was at Bowie and y'all had 5 buildings. Now y'all got this building, this building." He's also a businessman as well, so he's just like, I didn't see any entrepreneurship programs, and it was just different. So a lot of times it's always like history lane for us, But tell me a little bit more about you. Like, what's your idea of a perfect day?
Well, my perfect day is one that I'm able to get up and interact with people. And I learned that from going to a small school, interacting with people and helping people to move ahead. And one of my first jobs coming out of college, I worked at a very small college, Barbara Scotia College, 500 students. And, had a lot of students who came there with special needs and students who had no money, and helping those students to actually find their niche. That's something that's my perfect day, helping a person find their niche and getting that person connected with where they're going to be successful. And I think that's my idea of a perfect day. And right now at Fisk, I'm loving it because that's what I'm getting to do, helping students to find their perfect niche and getting them connected with their future.
What's it like on Fisk campus? Tell me a time that you would never forget.
Well, what I think is like on Fisk campus, we are an academic powerhouse that most people don't even know about. We're in midst of Nashville. We're the oldest institution in Nashville. But something that was important to us is when we founded the Social Justice Institute. You might not notice, but Fisk has been a pioneer when we talk about race relations. We've had all of these leaders that came out of the institution, W.B. Du Bois, Ida Wells, John Hope Franklin, all of those came out of the institution, Nikki Giovanni. And so when we had the Race Relations Institute, it was really instrumental in actually shaping policy across the nation, closed about 10 years ago. And so the one thing that we were happy is that we started our Social Justice Institute to actually replace it. And it's been embraced by our community. And what's going on now is that we're looking at things like prison reform, looking at things like North Nashville, which has the highest murder rate in the nation. How do we get this murder rate down? That's right around the campus. And so the Social Justice Institute is playing a role in getting those things addressed.
What other programs have you guys introduced since your presidency at Fisk University?
Oh, we've got a ton of new programs. We've looked at our academic inventory and we looked at what we are offering. We're offering Homeland Security, which is the only one in the state of Tennessee and the only one in Alabama or Mississippi. And what we're doing is that we have a branch campus we started in Clarksville. And so we're targeting veterans and getting those veterans to go into Homeland Security, because we feel it's important if we're going to guard our borders that we have people that are minorities that have some understanding of empathy. And we want to make sure that we train those officers, and we're doing it. We're training people for TSA for Homeland Security. And we also do programs in bioinformatics, data science, healthcare management. So we're doing a lot right now as a small institution.
In comparison to the other HBCUs, and I hate to do this, but I love to do it. In comparison to the other HBCUs, tell me about your graduates. What are your graduates doing in the workplace?
Well, we get graduates that are going to Google. They're going to Amazon, they're going to Cravath, Swain, and more. What's important, we had a survey we did last year of our graduates. About 100 students completed those surveys and sent them back. We graduate about 125 students a year.
Right.
Of those students, the average income was about $78,000. And that
Wow.
attests to what we're doing at Fisk. I mean, we have a targeted approach, and we use our career placement to actually put certain internships for our students, and those students are getting the jobs that they need to get. So they're working Federal Reserve in St. Louis. They're working at some of the major corporations on Wall Street, and that's where our students are going. They're coming out of our business program. Another group of our students, they're going to med school. So we're doing a lot as a small institution.
And what would you say is one of the most profitable programs for students at Fisk?
Well, let's say our business program. We have a very small business program, but it's really connected. And I mean, our program, we're sending people to the Wharton School. We're sending people to business school at University of Virginia, Dartmouth, various business programs at a powerhouse. So we'll send them up to Wall Street. We're getting people that are working right now. Cravath, Swain, one of the largest law firms in the nation. They're
Right.
working at Edward Jones in the brokerage houses, and we have students that are also working right in Nashville. We got Amazon, we've got Google Scholars that are coming to our campus. And so we've had a relationship with Google. Many HBCUs are just getting the relationship with Google, but we had a relationship with Google for about 5 years. And so we're actually producing many of the minority graduates who are going to work for them. They're coming from Fisk University.
And let me ask you this, because it's so funny. One of my missions at HBCU Buzz is to make sure that there's no tree falling in the woods. And a lot of things you're saying are just new information to me as the president and founder of HBCU Buzz. So I'm just curious, what are the programs that you feel like people should know more about and that people just don't know about?
Well, I think our bioinformatics, I mean, we do a lot with our Nashville. As you know, it's called the Music City, but it should be called the Medicine City because we have so many medical corporations, then hospital corporations, HCA. So we're training people to actually do a lot of the medical record studies. They're coming out of the university, bioinformatics, data science, coming out of the university. And they're working for the medical records companies. And the average salary of these students is about $65,000 coming out. And these are some programs that I think people should know about. They should also know about our career placement. What we do is a fantastic job of getting students placed with those corporations. I mean, it's beyond belief what we're able to do. So we're tying industry, and as a matter of fact, we have a donor who gave us money for a brand new building. We're tying industry into our career placement, and they'll have a place where we can have industry leaders come and serve for a period of time, working with our students to get our students ready for these careers that they're going on. So that's going to be very instrumental for us. That building, we broke ground on it about a few months back. We'll start construction in mid-February. It's right across the street from our campus, a brand new building.
What is the building for?
It's going to be for career placement and tying career placement to our curriculums. And we'll bring in various industry leaders who will serve maybe 3 months. They'll be working with our students to help our students get those internships they need. And that's what we think is going to be unique for us as an institution, because we're not just taking our students out to the industry. We're bringing industries to our students who are going to actually work with our students to get them the jobs that they need to get.
Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about enrollment. I know one of the tragedies in the HBCU community is always that, when people are looking inside to our community, they don't see diversity. They think that, going to an HBCU with, having predominantly African-American students on campus, that the campus is not diverse. And I've always argued that diversity has nothing to do with just race. It's more about, your background and where you come from and things like that. So tell me a little bit about enrollment and how you guys are pushing the needle for enrollment at Fisk University.
Well, this has been an interesting year. I had a meeting with the UNCF schools, and I think of all the UNCF schools, only 9 of them this year past fall had enrollment increases. We were one of the 9. And many of the institutions had enrollment declines of almost 20%. Now, let me tell you what we've been doing. We've actually been talking to our Latin community, which is in Nashville and in the West Coast. We have a good pipeline of Latino students who come to the university. And we've also been talking about our brand. We've been pushing out all kinds of material about our brand and what we've been able to do for students. And we don't have a shortage of students. We have a shortage of housing space and a shortage of classroom spaces that we can't take any more students. So we're building a new residence hall. We're building a new classroom building. and the new Career Placement Center. Those things are done to help us actually increase enrollment to fit the needs of the students who want to come to Fisk.
You know, if I'm ever thinking about going back to school, I know where I'm going. Because I mean, for me, it's just I like success rate. I look at, you know, a lot of institutions and I just try to figure out what their alumni are doing. You know, what's the average, you know, media income for alumni at the universities. And I'm just trying to figure out, you know, what the environment's like. So let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about what's happening right now at Fisk. And I know COVID has put like a damper on things on campus, but tell me a little bit about the environment right now with COVID and everything that's going on.
Well, you know, we've got a campus that feels that it's on the move, man. We're moving forward. Here's the one thing, and I'm going to give you this little tidbit. You know, Fisk in I want to say early in the 1980s, canceled its football team. We hadn't had a football team since I think '83. Hadn't had a marching band. So the feel goodness of the institution, let me, if that's a word, feel goodness, but we started a marching band, right? And the marching band we started has about 50 of our kids in it. They came to the university to be in the marching band, but what that simplifies or exemplifies for us as a campus, they're on campus, they're happy. They can see the campus moving forward. They can see the new buildings that are being constructed. They can see the things that we're doing for the university. All of those things are giving us a can-do attitude. We have our first branch campus, which is in Clarksville, Tennessee. We haven't had a branch in our history. We have new aspirations to be in other parts of Tennessee. We want to be in all corners of Tennessee with our campus and our programs. And so when you talk about our campus right now, it's a campus that has a can-do attitude. Our faculty are moving forward, and it's a transitional period in the midst of this COVID environment. Our students are doing a lot of good things in the community. We have a lot of students who are out working on social justice projects, this thing about prison reform. Our students are out there. We have our students working on this whole thing. We talk about police reform. We have students and some of our graduates on the police board working on police reform. And that's coming out of where we are right now today. And that's what we believe, that we're campus, you know, many campuses are having struggles. We're not struggling because we're talking about our brand and selling our brand, and we're doing a job to sell that brand.
That's amazing. I mean, I think when everything started, people started to go back on campus, the one problem you had is just like how you're going to keep the school spirit, right? A lot of events are being canceled, and people are trying to stay safe. So I'm just wondering, tell me about the measures Fisk has put together to make sure that our students are safe, and what type of environment have you guys created so that the students are still knowing that safety comes first?
I think our students are enjoying some of the protocols we put together. We were early in the whole process of getting ready for COVID. Last December, we formed the COVID-19 task force, started putting those protocols together, and we had our website that we put up for students. And so last fall, we only had 11 cases of COVID on campus because we were very proactive in this whole process. And so this semester, we've started later in the semester to get our students on campus. We've taken an approach that our students come first. And so what's happening is our students have been very active in reporting incidents that they might have come in contact with people with COVID. So our contact tracing, we were doing that early on. So right now we believe that we've got the answer that all colleges should adopt, because right now we're able to actually pinpoint, get our students to hear if they need help, and move forward.
That's amazing. I mean, the foresight is just amazing. I remember, you know, I didn't really catch wind of the COVID-19 till like Super Bowl. So you guys are saying that you kind of caught it early on, and tell me what some of that foresight is like. What gave you guys the foresight to be able to kind of predict some of the things that were going on?
Well, we had a few people who had gone to China early on and come back, and then we began to look at some of our news reports. And also, you know, being next door to a medical college and actually working with people who had some insight into this whole process helped us to actually pull through it early. So we started early on this whole process, planning our courses. And so that allowed us, when we got over into the summer, to pull together what I call a very unique process, where we put many of our courses online, and we developed a lot of hybrid courses. So it helped our students to be ready. And we helped to educate our students early. So when March, we sent our students home, our students were in the process of getting education about COVID. So that helped us to keep our enrollment strong and to stay strong as an institution.
That's amazing. Can you elaborate a little bit on the actual plan for the campus? Like, I know you mentioned before, like some people were on campus, some people weren't. So like, what was the percentage of people in class and online, and what measures did you guys put in place?
Well, the first semester, we only brought our freshmen back for 7 weeks. The freshmen
Okay.
came in an individual room. The rest of our students, they had to do their studies off campus. After the first 7 weeks, we flipped and sent the freshmen home, and we let our other students come to campus. We only had about 400, 500 spots for the students to come to campus. The remaining students did their education virtual. And so what was interesting about that, we were able to do certain things that we couldn't do before. Like for our freshmen, we could actually indoctrinate them into the institution, but also talk about safety protocols that we could not have done before. So that's some of the things that we put in place. We also integrated our faculty into some of our residential facilities to get our faculty involved in the process. And so that helped us as an institution.
Tell me a little about the teachers. What is that process like, switching on to online learning?
Well, we have been in online learning for a while. We only had 1 or 2 programs that were out there, but all of our instructors, we've required them from the beginning to be prepared to teach. And so we didn't have a problem for us. We were a small institution. We were agile and nimble. And so we were able just to turn the switch and move our classes to online, because all of our classes, we required them to put a shell up that's online anyway. So our students were used to going out, getting stuff out of Canvas. And we were just basically, when we had to make that move, we were able to make that move. Unlike a lot of institutions, we just moved it over to online, and we went forward because that's something that we've been going for a while.
That's amazing. Let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about the vaccine. A lot of HBCU presidents are advocating for the vaccine. They're taking it and they're, just promoting it and trying to bring education around it, just making sure that we understand that it's something that we as a community need. So what's your stance on the new vaccine?
Well, I believe that we should use the vaccine to get ourselves together. I believe I'm promoting the vaccine. We're sending our faculty over to get vaccinated at Mohari. And right now we've got about 1/3 of our faculty who've been vaccinated. And we're now trying to hope that we can get all our students vaccinated by the spring. So what we hope to do is that to set an example for our community around the university, to get them involved in this process, to make sure that they're getting vaccinated and moving forward.
So Fisk University has a great, rich history in breeding leaders in social justice. Tell me about your social justice program and why it's so important to racial relations and what's going on right now.
Well, the social justice, it builds on our old Race Relations Institute, that we're trying to improve conditions for everybody in the city of Nashville, in the nation, and in Tennessee. And what we're looking at right now is our rich legacy. We had people like Ida Wells who fought lynching, W.B. Du Bois, race relations, the NAACP. We've got tons of people, John Lewis, who's out there fighting on the forefront that makes things better for the nation. Nikki Giovanni, people like Janella Cole, they all went to Fisk University. And what we're doing now is that we are recapturing that whole piece, making sure that our students are endued with this whole piece that we call social justice. So that's part of our curriculum that we've added. We started bringing in people to speak to our students, such as Alia Shabazz, who's Malcolm X's daughter, others that are coming to the university. So we have a whole series of things that are built around this Social Justice Institute. We have a program, a Master's in Social Justice, the only Master's in Social Justice that I want to say that's probably in the nation. Right at Fisk, we just started that program, and we've got about 10 people in that program, and it's one of our fastest growing programs. We're getting people from all across the nation. We're even getting people from Ghana who want to enroll in this program, Social Justice Masters at Fisk University, because of what we've done as a university, and because who we are. We've got John Hope Franklin's ethos, some of his old works we're looking at. And if you go into our art gallery and you want to see a display, we have a display of the souls of Black folks. We have the original plates, which are being posted as an art exhibit. But it's interesting to see those, because that tells you what we're doing with this whole piece on social justice. We're trying to tie it into our past and use our past as the bridges to get us across the future.
So as we close, I just have one more question. Tell me what you want your legacy to be at Fisk University.
Well, I want my legacy to be one as a builder, to build the bridges that we needed to our community, to improve not only the university, but the community. Looking at our campus, 1 block away, there is a housing project. And so what we're doing right now is that we're using athletics to bring many of those young people to our campus. I'm also allocating some scholarships to students in the middle school to get those students ready for college so they can think about college. Because for us, it's important that we bring our community along with us as we go on this journey. So I want to be remembered as a person that brings the community around the college with the college as we move forward.
That's amazing. We appreciate you for joining us. Thanks for everything you've done. I'm coming to Fisk University to see them plates. I'm excited. I know Yannika's going to come with me, and I'm going to drag Lucy with me. So thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time.